What's up YouTube, Justin from Main Man Bassing. I'm going to show you how to set up a weedless bait. Weedless worm, weedless rodent, it's also known as a Texas rig. Okay, and if you're new to fishing, you probably don't know that. Let's get right to it. I'm going to assume that you're pitching and flipping, okay, and that you've already tied a fluorocarbon leader off of your main braided line. Okay, so I'm going to assume you're pitching and flipping, and then you've got a fluorocarbon leader, and you just need to know how to tie on a weedless setup. Okay, so let's talk about what you need. First thing you need is fishing line, preferably fluorocarbon. This is maximum 20 pound. It's good stuff for flipping and pitching, and it's at that medium price point range, so it won't break your bank. So you need your fishing line. You need bobber stoppers, which are these things right here. I'll give you some contrast here. They're little rubber beads you put on your line, and they prevent your bullet weight from sliding up and down. Not necessary, but I'm recommending it for beginners. Then you have your weights. Okay, these are little bullet weights. This is an 1/8 ounce. This is a 1/16 ounce. I don't even know what weight this is. It didn't say. It was just said tungsten worm weight. So there's all kinds of different weights you can have depending on what you're throwing. You need a hook. This is a Gamakatsu 4/0 wide gap offset hook. Okay. Just for now, just stick with these. I'll explain in a little bit. And then you need your baits. For this video, I'm going to feature Yamamoto 5-inch Senkos and KVD Perfect Plastic 4-inch rodent. These are two great baits to pitch and flip with and make weedless. All right, so those are what you need. There's links in the description box bringing you to Amazon where you can buy them. Now let's start the process. Okay, first thing you're going to do. Again, I've already assumed you've tied off a leader to your braid. Now we're just working with your leader. You're gonna put the bobber stopper on. Okay, bobber stoppers come on wire. All right, and they're all on wire. And in the wire has a little eye, a little loop. You're gonna thread your main line through the loop, and I'm wearing contacts, so this gets a little tricky. All right. Okay, now. So you thread your wire, your bobber stopper wire. Okay, you don't hold your line like that. Slide the bobber stopper up. Just go ahead. You can give it a good tug here. It's wire, it won't break. Okay, and then it comes onto your line. Pull it all the way up your line. All right, and then bring that off. Now, when you did that, you put a little kink in your line. I always cut it because you've just compromised the integrity of your line. So cut that off. Now your bobber stopper is on. Step one's done. Okay, next is your weight. You're gonna put your weight on. The first thing I'm gonna do is a rodent, so I like an 1/8 ounce with my rodents. That's good for about 4 or 5 feet if you're pitching docks, pitching submerged timber in 4 to 5 feet of water. If you want to get down to like 10 feet, you might need a 1/4 ounce, maybe something a little heavier. You put the pointed end of the bullet on the line first. Okay, let that go. Now you gotta put your hook on. Okay, you gotta tie your hook on. I always suggest putting a bait on your hook. Like, this isn't how you rig it, but I'm just putting the bait on for now. It gives it some weight, because you're gonna see when you do the hook, when you tie the hook, it helps to have a little weight on it. But I made a video on how to tie fluorocarbon knots. I'll link it in the description. I'm not gonna go step by step. I'm just gonna tie it real quick. Okay. I'm just gonna tie it real quick. You can check out that video if you don't know how to tie fluorocarbon. So now your hook's tied. Okay. Now this is the money right here. This is what it's all about. This is how you set up your weedless. Your weedless setup. You can take your bait. This is the 4-inch rodent. Okay, but you can use a worm. You can use pretty much any creature you want. I'm just featuring these because they work well. You're gonna insert the needle about a 1/4 inch. You really don't need that much. Okay, pull it out. So now you're up like that. Without twisting it, slide it all the way up. Bring it right up to the eye. Okay. Now you're gonna twist it. Okay. And then with your fingers, you're gonna measure. Okay, so I know like right here, bring the lure under the hook, bend it to, and then bring that point of that hook to where your fingers are. Put the hook through, try to keep it in the middle. Okay. Now, slide this up all the way. That's why you have that offset right there. Okay, slide this up all the way. Now, take your lure, pinch it, slide it up, bury the needle, the edge of that hook into the lure, and then let go. Now that needle, that hook is buried, so it's weedless. Okay. So, there you have your weedless setup. Okay, these are good from pitching docks if there's grass, pitching timber up to like 5-6 feet. Okay, if you want to go deeper, you need a little. If you want to go down to 10 feet, you need a heavier bullet weight. All right, but that's it. And I'll put the worm on. I'll do the worm to show you, just to give you some repetition and show you what a worm looks like. All right, it's the same thing. Okay. Go up about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, bring it through, slide it all the way up to the eye. Now, twist the lure so it's under the hook, under the nose of the hook. Measure with your finger, bend the lure, bring the hook through, take the head of the lure, bring it up so it sits on the eye. Now, pinch the lure, bring it up, bury the needle, and there you go. Now you've got your weedless worm. Okay. There it is. That's how you set it up. That's a Texas rig, right? Now, with the worm, if you could find, it's really weird. I was saying earlier these are 4/0 hooks. Okay. I think that goes up to 5/0, maybe even 6/0. I'm not sure, but if it was a 6/0, it'd be a bigger hook. 5/0, 4/0, 3/0, 2/0. So, but you kind of want, like, you got to imagine, like, if you had a 2/0, you know, and you were out to here, that hook would like start right here. So that means that the fish would have to eat all of this worm to place that hook. You know, so the bigger the lure, I mean, you can get away with a smaller, like a 2/0, but like basically the bigger the lure, the bigger the 0 you want. Especially on the rodent. Let me show you the rodent. All right, so this is the 4/0, as I mentioned, and you can see that hook. The hook starts about right there, and so when the fish comes up to bite it, if it doesn't bite up to here, you're not gonna be able to set the hook. So like if it comes up and bites these, like right up to here even, and you feel that tug, and you go to set the hook, and he's not holding, and his mouth isn't engaged in the whole, you know, wrapping up to the edge of the hook. If it's just down here and you pull, you're just gonna pull it out. So if you had like a 2/0 hook on here and that the needle only came up to like right here, that means he'd have to eat the entire thing. So basically, the bigger the hook, sort of the better the chance that if he puts the lure in his mouth, you'll be able to set the hook. But when you run a bigger hook, you also have more metal. But a 4-augh's good for beginners. And also, I was talking about the bobber stopper. It's not necessary, but I think it's good for beginners because when you peg that bullet weight down, if you didn't peg your bullet weight down and you go to cast, I mean, it could be up here and then the lure's flying everywhere, but also when the lure's ahead, or when the weight's ahead of the lure and the lure's falling, it'll fall at a slower rate and it'll flutter. Okay, at least it appears to fall at a slower rate. It'll flutter more, but when you got it pegged, it'll sink faster. Okay, and also when you're doing your worm, I should have mentioned this before, but when you have your worm hooked up, you might want to consider a smaller weight, like a 16th or a little tungsten worm, because with the 1/8 ounce on the worm, you got your 1/8 ounce right here on the worm, there's less surface area to resist the water, so it just sinks right down. And sometimes it's nice to have a nice slow little flutter down, sort of get the fish's attention after the splash. So that's all I got for you. Everything I use is featured, and it'll be featured on the description box. It'll be a link. You can click it. It'll bring you to Amazon. You can buy it there. If you want to start fishing weedless, you could, if you got Prime, you could be fishing in 2 days. So, anyways, I hope that helps. I'm just trying to pass along proven fishing knowledge, and this works for me really well. I've caught a lot of. I like flipping and pitching. I spend a lot of time flipping and pitching, so this stuff works really well, especially if there's a lot of grass and timber as well. So, anyways, I also do other product reviews of proven, things that are proven successful, and I post my fishing adventures as well. So if you like that, you can always subscribe. And thanks for watching, and I hope it helps. And good luck on the water. All right.